In this video, I'm gonna be reacting to a Tozi's TikToker caught faking her entire rich house. Alright, anyways, I'm really interested to see what this video is about. Don't mind me. I got food. I'll be eating. Yeah, let's get into the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, sub up. Let's get into the video.
She been comment me.
This TikToker has been called out for faking the ownership of luxury homes that she was hired to watch, turning her house-sitting gig into a high-end retreat business, causing drama across an entire island community. I mean, imagine hiring someone to water your plants and feed your dog, only to discover they've been turning your home into their own personal Airbnb side hustle. That's confusing. It feels like every other week there's some new influencer faking their own reality. This time, however, instead of just posting old photos to fake a vacation, this woman is allegedly faking a real estate empire. So be Kylie Swanson, who presents herself on social media as a Connecticut housewife, and has racked up about 90,000 followers on TikTok and 80,000 on Instagram by posting this curated domestic lifestyle content. She's a 36-year-old woman from Norman, Oklahoma, and she grew up in a pretty typical middle-class family. Her dad owned a car dealership, while her mom was a typical housewife. Kylie seemed to be on a pretty straightforward path throughout most of her life. She got married in 2011, had a kid in 2016, and like her mother, became a stay-at-home mom. But then 2020 happened, and like many people, Kylie and her husband started questioning a lot of things. And that is when they decided to change their lifestyle completely and start traveling the world with their son. So by 2021, they made an even bigger decision. They sold almost everything they owned and hit the road, literally driving across the country and hoped to figure out where they wanted to settle down.
Hey, people that can do this right here, shouts out to you. Because that take a lot of wherewithal to go sell everything, even to leave where you're born and raised or where you're from and where you're comfortable, just to move, or just move like around the country or around the world. That can't be me. I need to stay in one area. I don't know how people can do that. Congrats to y'all. It's like I have too much attachments to these you can say material things. I guess it's not a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I don't have to want to move around and stuff, but it's just crazy that people can actually do that. It's crazy, cause I wouldn't.
Except they never really settled anywhere. Instead, Kylie discovered a world of house-sitting websites where people were in need of someone to just watch their pets and keep their property safe while they're away. And I guess for someone trying to live this nomadic lifestyle, it seemed perfect. Free places to stay in exchange for taking care of someone's animals and home. So
for comfort in every room, rely on two brands you know and trust. The Lennox powered by Samsung mini split system is a quiet energy.
She then started documenting all of this on social media, and due to the interest surrounding this line of work, her following began to grow. The content was then a mix of travel, domestic life, and aspirational living that resonated with a lot of people. Her bio on Substack read, "Martha Stewart if she lived out of a suitcase." So through various house-sitting websites, Kylie found temporary jobs all over the place, and each location provided the perfect backdrop for content that looked like she was living this incredibly luxurious lifestyle.
When you say temporary job, is she actually getting jobs? Because I feel like when I hear that these days, it's not, oh, I'm a barista here, I'm a server here. I'm actually working in the office building over here. You're doing DoorDash. Nothing's wrong with DoorDash. It's one of those things where, like, I'm a chemical engineer, whatever, and you're a custodian, aka janitor. Like, when you say temporary job, I genuinely don't know any temporary jobs. Maybe that's just me, but I don't know any regular temporary jobs that you could just walk into. Maybe it's just like the house sitting, and you watch dogs, or you flipping stuff on Facebook Marketplace. That's all I really is coming up to my head right now. That's what I think of as a temporary job. I don't know.
And technically, she was, just not in the way that most people thought she was actually living. And to be fair, she's been pretty upfront about her house sitting in some of her videos, explaining that she doesn't own any of these homes, and she's been pretty upfront about explaining her nomadic lifestyle that she's been living for a few years. And according to a recent interview, she claimed that the homeowners had always given her permission to film. Apparently that wasn't the case though.
Something I'm asked all the time is where I find rentals like this one, and in this video, I'm going to spill all of my secrets. This cute little house I found in Montana off Zillow, and don't sleep, literally, on that app. You can add filters like fully furnished. We obviously need that since we own no real furniture.
Okay, that's not bad. I don't think what she's doing is wrong. If this is what she's doing. If she's sitting here saying, this is how I find houses. I thought this was really going to be more of like, I own this house, I own this place, I go here, I do this, I do that. And it's like, appreciate you, twin. But I thought it was really like, I own this house, I do this, I do that. And she's just lying, she's flat lying. But I feel like she's doing it, there's nothing wrong. She's just saying, oh, this is how I get this house, this is how I get it. And she's filming without permission, which is wrong, but like, I bet she's gonna be acting like she owns everything.
My next tip is called Trusted House Sitters. Trusted House Sitters is a subscription-based website where you can find gorgeous luxury homes for people who are looking for house sitters or pet sitters.
Because everything changed when Kylie took a Christmas house sitting gig in Nantucket, a quaint little island off the coast of Massachusetts packed with a classic New England charm, including cobblestone streets, historic architecture. It's essentially like a very exclusive island that really radiates rich and wealthy. And as you can imagine, on an island like that, where not too much happened and there's a lot of wealthy housewives with way too much time on their hands, it's safe to say word spreads pretty quickly there. But Kylie absolutely fell in love with this place. So shortly after arriving to the island in one of her initial TikToks there, she hinted at the idea of turning it into a camp experience by asking her followers that if that's something she should create, but in a tone that was so casual that it seemed very unlikely that she was being serious. It kind of felt more like a rhetorical question than anything else.
I can't believe how many other people also share a dream of running away to Nantucket and starting a whole new life here. Should we have a summer camp or something?
But her casual tone, however, did not stop the video from
Why is she
taking
talking
off,
like that?
leading a bunch of people actually asking her to make it happen. And when Kylie opened a wait list for this hypothetical camp, over 3,000 people signed up. And that's when she realized she might be onto something. So as
Damn.
she says in her video and further explains in the interview, her idea was that many people wanted to visit Nantucket but couldn't access it, either due to cost, lack of connections, or simply not knowing how to plan a trip out there. So she wanted to solve this problem by creating...
Alright, what is Nantucket? I've never heard of Nantucket. How do you even spell Nantucket? Tuck. Nantucket. Oh, he said Massachusetts. Was I not paying attention? I was locked in, huh? I was eating. Yeah, I was too busy eating. Where in Massachusetts? Nantucket? Man, where the hell are you living? I don't want to move out to Nantucket, whatever the
Camp
fuck.
Nantucket. What could go wrong? I can already see this happening. It's like Fire Festival, but for middle-aged women. And in May, Kylie signed a lease on a rental property on the island. Then in June, she launched her first Camp Nantucket experience, a 4-day retreat for 8 women at $3,800 per person. So if we do the math, that equals roughly 30 grand in revenue for 4 days, even after covering rentals, activities, food, and other expenses. It's safe to say this could quickly become a cash cow. The camp included meals with a private chef, sailing, biking, and presumably some Instagram-worthy experiences. But while the campers were enjoying their slice of Nantucket, something else was happening in the local community that Kylie probably did not anticipate. And here's where things get a little bit complicated, because...
I'm a predict. I'm a snipe it, watch. The family came back. Am I locked in this video? Is that not a valid guess? I feel like I said it out loud, it felt right, but like when I said it out loud, I was like, bro, what are you watching? The family came home? That's my final answer, Steve.
Well, the island isn't just any tourist destination. It's a small, tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone. And apparently some pretty specific cultural norms are not very obvious to outsiders. The main issue seems to be around how Kylie and her team approach local businesses when preparing the camp. According to multiple business owners on Reddit, they were contacted about providing services, products, or experiences for the camp in exchange for social media exposure rather than an actual payment, which is not unheard of for influencers. This is kind of the standard influencer BS at this point. Oh boy. Kylie said she made it very clear that she was running on a tight budget and said to many of them it's common in influencer culture to request discounts in exchange for collaboration. Personally, I do not like this negotiation tactic because it's just too cliche at this point, and for the business owner, there's just too much risk because it's not like they don't have bills to pay. So having this like IOU of, oh, I can bring you traffic for a small store in Nantucket on a remote island, it's not always that's too helpful. Because let's be real, we can't pay our bills with follower counts, because if you could, we would be in quite the bubble.
I feel like that's a problem when you ask for like a lump sum or something like that. But in other cases, when you pop up to a ice cream stand and you like, let me get one, I'm popping on this or that, you can get, excuse me, I'm popping on this or that, you can get some traction online with your stand, and it's to give out one free cone. I feel like that's cool. So
because everyone and their grandmother knows someone with a decent amount of followers on social media. Then I guess another problem was the fact that she brought in outside vendors. Apparently, Kylie hired a Pilates instructor from Connecticut instead of finding someone local, which violated what seems to be some kind of like unspoken rule about supporting local businesses. This whole island seems like it's low-key ran by HOA Karens, but hey, let's continue. But it seems like Nantucket operates on a different timeline than most places. Business owners on the island make the majority of their annual income during a 10-week summer season. So when someone asks for free services during their busiest and most profitable time of the year and brings in outside professionals to work at a local event, it really doesn't sit well with them. And during this time, the internet detective work was ramping up. People on Reddit, TikTok, and Instagram had been discussing Kylie's lifestyle content for months, questioning whether or not her Connecticut housewife persona was authentic given her nomadic house-sitting lifestyle. Because a user posted a thread called Kylie Swanson is Pathetic that basically laid out the argument that she was just cosplaying as a wealthy housewife. Not simply because she was living out of a suitcase and she had always made that clear from the start, but because the word housewife was being highly promoted by the algorithm back then, allowing her to keep gaining followers. I think I probably disagree in like the algorithm promoting a certain keyword. I think it's more or less that people were just really interested in housewife content back then, so therefore that keyword performed well. Same outcome.
I remember that. It was a contemporary wife, bro. It was contemporary wife, right? That was like the trend. And there was just one girl who was out there baking and making everything. You know, like, my kids wanted popsicles, so I made them from scratch. Cool. But then when you say my kids were sick, so I made cough drops from scratch. My kids were sick, so I went out, grew some leaves, and made cough syrup from the leaves, and made that from scratch. All right, man. Go to CVS. It's down the street. Go to a Walgreens.
Different reasoning. Either way,
It
I feel
was
like that's
popular.
nitpicking a little bit, but things escalated even more when an anonymous Instagram account called the Nantucket Brief popped up in June specifically to call out Kylie and document the Camp Nantucket situation. The account posted slides with captions like, a small business owner shares her Camp Nantucket experience, and described documenting instances where individuals request complimentary services from small local businesses, bypass regulatory permit processes, and utilize a community as a backdrop for personal gain. So it's safe to say the girlies on Nantucket are not happy about this. They've had enough. But the account has since been deleted, and it stirred up a whole lot of controversy while it was still active. And because of this, some TikTok users also started making content about the situation, including slideshows and videos breaking down what they saw as problematic about her business model and her approach. On Reddit, a business owner later identified as Peyton Triglav, who runs an online boutique, says she sent about $400 worth of products to Camp Nantucket after being promised these social media features. But according to Peyton, barely any of her content was posted featuring her products, leaving her feeling like she basically wasted money and inventory on sending her these items. So apparently she's not even following through with her promises of the IOU for social media clout. And to make things even worse, apparently the camp thing didn't even have the proper permits that the island requires for special events like this. So Nantucket's director of culture and tourism confirmed that Kylie didn't secure the required permit. When asked about it, Kylie said her application was denied. So why would you go forward with doing the camp then if you were denied? I get...
Nigga, that green. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? She was about her green. She wanted the money. This is like scamming. This is when niggas be out here scamming. She's doing her own scamming. Hey, get your money. But like, the innocence, bro, it's crazy. I feel like it's like not even jaw dropping at this point, for this day and age to be scamming. I've seen a nigga that look like me that scam. I've seen a Mexican that scam. Now we seeing white women in their mid 30s or early 30s or whatever scamming. It's not even surprising at this point. It's just like, damn, try not to get scammed, I guess. Like, I wouldn't send my stuff to her though. I mean, I don't think, they said like it was like 80K or whatever, something like that. 80K on social media or whatever. That's not enough to make me think that there's gonna be traction coming from anything that you do or anything that you post of me. I just don't. I wouldn't. I don't think I personally fall for that, sending products to somebody. But it sucks that some people do believe in whatever they doing, and they're like, all right, this is what's gonna do it. I just need some traction, and then they get desperate and they get hope and they make decisions like that. That's tough. But it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me.
That regulatory BS is annoying, but if you're trying to do an event and you got denied, you shouldn't do the event. Either way though, when the media reached out to Kylie for comment, she agreed to give them an interview, and she didn't back down from the controversy at all. Kylie admitted to living in what she called a touch of delusion, which is, you know, a little bit refreshing self-awareness from a TikToker in controversy. But hey, she also defended her right to create experiences on the island, I guess even though she didn't have permits. Her take was the American dream should be accessible across the entire country, including Nantucket, and that there shouldn't be a price of admission to experience beautiful places. And I mean, hey, I guess that would be a half-decent argument if she wasn't charging $3,800 per person for a 4-day experience. That's almost $1,000 a day. At that price point, one would think that the permits would be in place. But hey, I digress. So regarding the business disputes, she also said that she talked to local business.
Did she get the money? Did she get away with the green? That's what we really want to know. Like, after all this came out, was there refunds? Was she arrested? Is she just walking about and people just don't like her? Because if you walking around people just don't like you, you can go somewhere else in the world. If you walking away, he said 3,000 people. Now, if you charge 3,000 people 200, what is that? No. 3,000 people. How much did he say? I forgot. But that's a bag. Not a lifetime bag, but that's a good amount of bag for, I don't know, for a little amount of time.
Many of them seem more interested in pitching their services than actually working within her budget constraints. And honestly, if your budget constraints are requesting free services, that should pretty much be expected. But now, she's also continued posting her regular lifestyle content without directly addressing most of the specific allegations, though she did hint at hiring a private investigator to look into the smear campaign that was ran against her. In a recent post, she showed herself working at a desk with the text saying that it doesn't let her bother her when people choose to misunderstand her. As long as she knows who she is and that her intentions are good, she's fine. And honestly, ma'am, you're the one who promised businesses in their high season that they would get some attention on social media if they gave you some products, and you didn't follow through on that. So that's on you. She's also being a part of gatekeeping the Nantucket experience by charging $3,800 for 4 days, but also complaining about the other Nantucket gatekeepers. So it's a little bit like that Spider-Man meme where he's pointing at Spider-Man here. So I don't really sympathize for this woman. But despite all of this controversy, Kylie's business doesn't seem like it's suffering. She mentioned landing a $33,000 deal with a wine company and talked about potentially expanding the camp concept to other locations, including the Cotswolds in England and another camp in Newport. The anonymous Instagram and
Wait, I'm sitting here like, damn, money. Her ass probably lying. She lied before. Why wouldn't she just be lying again? By saying, oh, I secured this, I secured that, she can say that. Like, she can bring in more. It's almost like when people say, like when people inflate views and numbers and things so that you can go to a bigger company and say, hey, these are my views and numbers, and then they'll give you a contract or they'll give you something in return. She probably saying that, so I got a wine thing, I got a wine that. Unless he's going to show proof. Her ass is probably lying back to back. Not phased. You're gonna have to stop her a different way.
Accounts that were documenting the drama have disappeared for the most part, though it's unclear whether or not this is because of any pressure from Kylie or just people moving on to other topics. Now, I think it's safe to say that the whole Camp Nantucket experience could easily be turned into a fascinating case study on what happens when influencer business models meet traditional communities, and how quickly things can spiral when different groups have different expectations about how everything should work. Whether you think Kylie was in the wrong or just caught up in cultural differences probably depends on your perspective on how business should be done and what constitutes a authentic representation on social media. One thing is for sure though, she should have definitely not gone ahead with the event after being denied permission. But it's reasonable to assume that Kylie saw an opportunity to create experiences for people who wanted to visit Nantucket but couldn't afford the typical price point. But also, I mean, looking at the price point at $3,800 for 4 days, that has to be somewhere similar to just going to Nantucket on yourself. How to get to Nantucket?
I was gonna do that too.
It's in New York City. Hey, you take the ferry. Well, obviously you have to stay there. Okay, wait. Hotels. Okay, 4-star hotel, $258 a night. I'm recording this in late August, so we're still kind of in peak season, I think, right? I mean, you can definitely do this for way cheaper than $4,000 for a 4-day trip, right? So you can fly to Boston, train to Cape Cod, and then take the ferry. There might be an Uber in between here, but it should not cost you $4,000 for 4 days.
It's not $4,000. Let's do some.
Unless you're going
Let's do some professional pocket watching really quick. So she said 30. No, she said 3K times. That's 12. What am I doing math for? What am I doing? It's
like
simple
crazy
math.
bougie experience. But I am
It's
also
like
saying this is
15K.
someone who's never been to Nantucket. I've only been to Cape Cod. Cape Cod was really nice. I would heavily recommend it. But clearly, the locals saw someone who didn't understand their community and economy trying to profit off of their island during the most crucial earning season.
said 3
So
or
to me,
30.
it seems like
I
she
don't
was
know if
trying to
she
make
said
it
3 or
happen no
30.
matter what they said, but she did the
think it
basic
was
things like
3K.
applying for a
People hit her up.
permit and speaking to a few business owners to maybe try to save face. But other than that, hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Hey, that's no ads, bro. Hey, that's gonna do it for the video. I don't think that she's well, she's definitely like fucked up for doing it, but like, I don't know. People are really outraged at her. I feel like if you was watching somebody that hard to be able to know when they're somewhere and they say, hey, if y'all want to do this, come here, and you watching someone that close, I think that's kind of your fault. Because it's kind of like unemployed news, you feel me? So like, you shouldn't really be up to date on that. But a lot of people are unemployed and they, you know, want to live that lifestyle or whatever. And if someone says I can give it to you for this, some people will be parasocial and say, I know that person, I watched them for so long, they can give me that. And that's how that happens. But I don't think she was crazy. I mean, it was just a scam, regular scam, regular. Appreciate y'all for watching. Regular videos will be down in the description. Subscribe to Tozy, sub up to me. That'll do it. Peace.